Alright, so this is casual mode, or if you want to believe it might be friend versus, I don't care. It is not. I just decided to keep my hand. I feel like this is an interesting matchup. I have my one secret, and a mad scientist, and a belcher. It's pretty good. And an Argent Protector is always nice to keep, for a reasonable trade. And again, I have the coin, so I decided to keep the belcher. And here comes my Harrison, so even more better that I would keep the coin. Because if he plays on point, on curve, through silver, I can at least take one away and draw a card. And have a 5/4 on the board. So he just plays a dude after I played my secret, my avenged. So here I'll just play on curve with my mad scientist that I didn't coin out. My cult master is here, and against a paladin, a cult master can be really, really nice, but at the same time it can be pretty weak because all we're doing is dudes or recruits. So it's really, really hard to time a good cult master unless he plays really strong minions that I end up needing to do more than 2-for-1 or 3-for-1. And he just decides to dude up. He did test that my secret is not eye for an eye nor noble sacrifice, but I just got my noble sacrifice, so I'll put it up. And Paladin against Paladin, you really want to maintain the board control. I was thinking about Argent Protector here, but I don't think I want to give him the Divine Shield in case he plays Blood Knight. And it's better to use the shield when you're making the trade, or right after the trade to keep it alive. So he procs both of my secrets, and at this point, if he doesn't have anything good to deal with this, I can start attacking him for 6. And if he does put out something, then I can Cult Master and start trading in and get more draws. But he just decides to dude up, and I thought it was over, but apparently he also has one Argent Protector in his hand, and he played it from the left side of the screen, so it was obviously one of the earlier cards from his starting hand as well. And I'm actually not surprised that people will actually keep an Argent Protector in the hand because you do want to do a reasonable trade without losing one of your creatures. And at this point, he played that because he wants to try to gain board control without revealing too much of his hand. And here I'm uh, at the point where I wanted to use Cult Master, but I ended up thinking that I shouldn't because I can't really draw than more than one card, and obviously he hasn't played his consecration, so I don't really want to risk that Cult Master dying because Cult Master only has 2 health. And I usually do Argent Protector on my Cult Master. That is actually one of the combos that I do. And he did that so that he can consecrate, which is what I was expecting. So that's why I didn't Cult Master as well on turn 4 for 4 mana. I mean, it is on curve play, but you really want to make use of the Cult Master to get at least 2 cards. So I'm drawing dead things here, and everything is more utility except the Dread Corsair. So I'll just play my Belcher. I mean, there's nothing on the board. I might as well put something stronger. And he just used one of his consecrations. So, which means my Belcher will live for quite some time. And I wasn't expecting Blessing of Wisdom, but that's fine. It's a taunt, so he has to attack into me. And since he's not presenting anything strong, per se, at this point, that I don't have to spend 3 cost to give him a card. So he just queued up and passed. He's really thinking about what to play because he really wants me to give him cards instead so that he has more options. And he really wants me to reveal my hand, but I won't. I'll just queued up and put out my secret. And this is just to control the health of my Belcher because I really want him to think that, you know, oh, I'll just relax. He'll give me a card sometime. No, I won't. I won't give him a card. 3 damage right now. At this point, we're pretty good on health. As you can see, he still has 30 health. I haven't touched him. And he hurt me a little bit. But it's not at the critical point where every hit point matters. So 3 damage is not worth giving him a card. So here he decides to try to kill my Belcher, or at least hurt it to the point where it would pressure me to actually use my Belcher. But of course I put up my other noble sacrifice, and since it's just the recruits, they die. And he just lost his 1 blessing of might, which is really good for me, and giving me my avenge prop. So now he's probably really confused. And it's a good thing that I got my Kodo, because I'm really hoping to get Tyrion out of the way. Um, with the humility that I got from the last turn before I played my Belcher. Or on the turn that I was hoping to get something good. But I didn't. So having Humility Kodo is a really good combo. It only costs 6 and I can remove stuff. So here he finally plays stronger minions. Of course, Booty Bay Bodyguard is not very strong, but it does take away a lot of minions if you do not handle it correctly. And in my hand, I don't have a weapon. So right now, it's just not good. And I drew dead again. And I just spent a lot of my secrets earlier, so Secret Keeper isn't going to help. And since I have a Cult Master, I'll just trade it in. And I kind of wish that I got the True Silver before the Cult Master, but yeah, it's okay. And so I got the 2 cards that I want from the Cult Master. If it lives, it lives. If it dies, then I know what he's gonna do. It's either Avenging Wrath or... But then again, my Belcher is really healthy, so Avenging Wrath is not gonna hurt me too badly. And he decides to use his second Consecration. So now it just means that I have to dodge Equality and Avenging Wrath for the rest of the game. So now that I have my Owl, my Humility, and Kodo, and the coin that I kept for the whole game so far, uh, and since we're hitting late game, so I'm waiting for his Tyrion. And since I don't have anything to do, I'll just hit the 1/1 with my weapon and heal up. And then just drop my Dread Corsair since it costs nothing with a weapon in hand. That makes it cost nothing. And I'll just flood the board, because he already used both his consecrations by now. So he finally used an ooze. So he finally got to put down his ooze. And then he decides to weapon up, because he's getting tired of you know, my Belcher, but he decided that since he has an ooze on the board that I might actually finally use my Belcher to give him a card, and he obviously attacks into my Corsair dies, and he's just gonna do it up and pass. So here I'll just drop my Harrison since I'm not gonna be waiting for Tyrion, and it's not like I can remove Tyrion's weapon on the same turn. I usually like to try to remove Tyrion's weapon on the same turn. I have a highlight about that before with an ooze. I killed Tyrion because I didn't have my silence, so I couldn't get the weapon out, but in the end I oozed the weapon on the same turn I killed Tyrion. So here I'm forcing him to trade with the Belcher that he previously used, the Blessing of Wisdom. I'm not giving him any cards. I don't have to. So he decides to play Humility, and because 5 damage is a lot for him at this point, or so it seems, that he decides to play Humility, which is fine. So he trades in. So now I don't have that Blessing of Wisdom problem. So he dudes up. And I got my Sword of Justice. I'll just not play my Sword of Justice just yet. So since he doesn't have Consecration, I'll just flood the board consistently and then try to keep every guy above 1 health. Well, if it's not above 1 health, then it's dead, right? Okay. So I'm basically trying to keep everything at 1 health so that he has to trade it into them without gaining any advantage to hit my face. So here I have a Divine Favor, and it's just stupid because I have such a huge hand. But whenever you're playing Secrets and Secret Keepers, you tend to run out of cards pretty fast. So here I just decided to use my Eldor that I got from a top deck because I really want to keep Humility as an option to save mana cost. And so I just play my Sword of Justice along with the Eldor so that it becomes a 4/4, and then I might as well just drop my other Corsair right now since I still have a weapon out. And I just hit him because I don't really want to give him cards if he does have a Harrison in his deck as well. And I'm not going to be surprised if he does have a Harrison in his deck. So I really want to just use the Sword of Justice as quickly as possible. And my board is full, so it's not likely that I can make good trades. So he decides to give the other Blessing of Wisdom to my highest attack power, which is the 4/4 Eldor Peacekeeper. Of course, I Humility that guy, so he's gonna have a hard time clearing any of the taunts that I have. He definitely wants to get rid of my creatures with more than 1 health, but he doesn't have the Consecration, so he has to trade it in and hit the slime. And this game is going for a really long time because he hasn't revealed anything really particularly strong. I'm waiting for Tyrion. I already lost track of how many cards he has that remains from his starting hand, or that he drew and decided not to play. So here I decided to just, attack his face for most of the way. And here I'm deciding whether I should trade in, or, should I just keep control of the board? And yes, I should. So here I just decided to attack in with my uh, second last durability. And, he hasn't played Equality, and even if he does Equality Avenging Wrath, I don't really care. At least he won't be able to take out all of them unless the RNG uh, hits all 7 from the Avenging Wrath Equality. And he plays a Secret. This is funny because I have a Secret Keeper on the board. I could have had 2 Secret Keepers on the board. But 2 is a bit too many, so he decides to heal up after playing a Secret. So here I have a 1/1 on the board and a 1/1 slime. So it's pretty obvious that I would use either of them to test what the secret might be. And I don't know if he's playing the secret just to spend cards, or he's really hoping to keep something on the board. So I'm having a hard time deciding, and I just decided to use my 1/1 to test the secret for a noble sacrifice, and it was. So now I have room, but obviously I'll just keep my creatures all above more than 1 health, and just attack with everything else except the one that has the Blessing of Wisdom. Because now he's running out of cards very soon. He's relying mostly on the fact that he has given me Blessing of Wisdom twice now, because in construction you can only have 2, but I don't see why in arena you would draft more than 2 anyways, because that would mean you are incredibly weak at some point when you top deck the wrong card. So here he heals again. So he's already played 2 Guardian of Kings, I believe. So here is his second Guardian of Kings, and he really wants to protect it. So he plays a Divine Shield on it. I think he previously played a Divine Shield as well on, well, it was probably the Argent Protector in the early game. So here, I'm also having a hard time because I don't really want to reveal my combo against Tyrion. And at the same time, I really want to get rid of some of the things on the board, at least 1 or 2 for my Harvest Golem that I just drew. So I decided to just trade the 1/2 Secret Keeper into the Recruit. Make sure I attack face with most of my other creatures that I don't intend to trade with. And I'm definitely keeping my Slime so that if for some reason I miscalculate, he'll only kill, one of my few taunts. But of course, he'll probably attack into my 2/8 if I do keep that alive, and I definitely don't want it alive. So I have another Secret Keeper, so I'll just ditch that one. I mean, it's only a 2/2 damage, so unless he plays another secret, it's not gonna go any much higher. And I decided here to give him a card since, I didn't really spend anything else, and I didn't give him cards for a very long time. So he must be really happy that he got a card um, at this point. But then he also spent 1 for the Divine Shield, so I wouldn't say... Yeah, so it's not really just 1 for 1. It's more like, you know, 1 for 2 because he spent 2 to hopefully live. I mean, obviously I spent a lot of cards trading in, but when I say 1 for 2, it means that he spent his Divine Shield to get back 1 card. Um, so it's still cards in hand. So I'm trying to reduce his cards, but he managed to get 1 extra card for me trading in. So he's struggling to defend himself, so he's trying to taunt up because I'm tickling him down in health. So here he reveals his Blessing of Kings. And it's actually a really good time for me to get my Lotheb, because I'm actually worried that if he actually maintains his board right now, that I would get Avenging Wrath, and then the board will change tide. So this is not good for me, because I don't really want to spend my silence. I want to keep it for Tyrion. If he has Tyrion, I'm still at a loss of words to know if he has Tyrion in his hand, or did he even draw it yet. So I'll just use one of my other humilities that I got most recently, and then I start trading in things that I want to make weaker, but at least to keep them still on the board. So here I just decide that I'm not going to risk any more creatures. I'll just let him attack into my slime and the other taunt. As long as he's not touching my face, I don't really care. So I dropped my Lotheb, so everything spells, quote unquote, cost a lot. So it means that Avenging Wrath cannot be played, because it costs 6 and plus 5 is 11, and I still have the coin, so he can't play that. So here he heals for the third time, or maybe it's the fourth. I lost count already. So it's probably the fourth. Um, Now this game has gone for a really long time, and he is having that health to the point where he cannot humility, and he did an Eldor. So it's really much time for me to start attacking his face, but I want to make sure that he doesn't have any board control, and so that my Mogushan will stay alive. So here I weaken him to the point where he can't heal again. I mean, he could lay on hands if he wants, but it's not gonna help him. So I'm thinking he's either looking for his Tyrion or he has nothing else to play. And if he has Tyrion, I have enough mana to take away all the advantages. Oh, and then he rage quits. Finally. What a game. Thanks for watching.